Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different than what I usually discuss. We're just going to talk about an unusual type of medical condition and just something I found very interesting. So today we are talking about a condition known as Brewery Syndrome, also known as gut fermentation syndrome. As you might recall from Grey's Anatomy, this is a condition where the body's digestive system, instead of breaking down the food, it ferments it and turns it into ethanol, which then intoxicates the patient. It's known to be produced by the yeast, I'm going to try to pronounce this, Saccharomyces, or nope, just going to not even try. It's produced by a certain type of yeast. I'll just write it down up the front here. But not a whole lot is known about it because so few people have this and it's difficult to diagnose. But it's also known to be a complication from Crohn's, and also it's found in children with short gut syndrome. They are investigating if it's related to sudden infant death syndrome, but there's not a lot of data on that at the moment. It's also found in people with liver issues because they don't excrete the specific enzymes needed to break down that type of food. So this person will get drunk off of eating a couple pieces of toast, anything that's high in carbs or sugars, and they don't have to have any amount of alcohol in order to present with drunkenness. So some other symptoms besides drunkenness include chronic hangovers, chronic fatigue syndrome, and they also can develop depression and anxiety from the condition. And it's also a huge strain on the family because it's obviously complicating their life, whether they get caught at work after lunch or breakfast, or they're driving and they get pulled over, and they can exclaim that they've not been drinking at all, but they'll have a positive blood alcohol and they'll smell like alcohol. So it's very difficult to cope with before you have a diagnosis. So a way to diagnose this person is there's a couple different ways. You can culture the gastric fluid in the feces and see what bacteria is present, or yeast. Also, you can just closely monitor a patient and check their blood alcohol level peripherally, and you'll see that even though they haven't had any alcohol, they have a positive alcohol level, and you can diagnose that way. So the treatment is pretty simple. The patient should really just cut out carbs in general in their diet and sugar. They can take probiotics or antibiotics to kind of balance out their gut health and keep one from overrunning the other, therefore causing this condition. So this particular diagnosis was used in a DUI case in New York in 2014. A woman was pulled over because she had a flat tire, and the officer found that she seemed to be drunk and took her blood alcohol level, and she was at 0.4, which is 4 times the legal limit of 0.08. So she went to court, presented her diagnosis that she has this, and the judge ended up dismissing her case, but this was after her and her husband went through many tests and trials to figure out what was causing it, because she hadn't drank a lot that day. I read this article here that she only had a few drinks between like noon and 6 p.m. Like she only had a couple of drinks, like less than 1 hour. So by being reasonable, having less than 1 drink an hour, you shouldn't be that drunk at the end of that day. So her case was dismissed. They said they were considering an appeal, but I didn't find any information on that, so they probably dropped it. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Weird Medical Conditions. I guess that's what I'm going to call it. I don't know. But I just thought it was interesting and something fun to talk about, and just new things to learn every day. If you like this video, you might like these that are popping up around me, and you can subscribe in this bubble down here, and I will see you guys in the next one.